There are some that will come to know you only through the woeful echoes of ancestors, unripened dreams, earned work song, pain birthed melodies from slaves whose souls uttered unlettered words of courage and resolve. It is for them that we lift prayer, for them who sifted sorrow from spirit while searching for signs of the familiar. They who bid me, even now, to sing their song of loss and pain in verse made plain. They plead that we release it to the universe, shout it from faith's high point of hope. They say, steal away, search out this freedom thing, hold it dear, keep it safe, grow it from whisper to shout song, then hand it down, tender and prideful to the young ones. So we hold fast to the things so many knew they'd never know. It is for them that we, the Black church community, that we, the Black family, claim and demand with faith-filled hearts and fists raised to glory. In your mighty and matchless name, we proclaim our power despite trial, tribulation, lateness of hour. Relentlessly, we fight, strive, die to create opportunity, equality, soul affirming dignity, even through tears.
License and registration, he consents your acquisition.
On the head of the fallen
Remind me that
angel.
this is a team effort. Remind me to keep going.
Time, my shirt.
Did you know that your hands came with a ripple effect?
Like silk.
We got the same dreams. I mean, blood, sweat, and tears win by any means poetry.
Sway, look at me. Is a piece of the pie too good for me?
Some may call it rock the mic. We call it poetry.
Hello, welcome to Sojourn with Words. I'm your host, Sistah Joy, and we are so glad you decided to join us again right here on CTV for Sojourn with Words, the premier poetry channel serving Prince George's County, Montgomery County, and now with the advent of virtual, we are worldwide. So we're excited today. We have a powerful young man who is sharing poetry and more. I'm speaking of Jeffrey W. Young. Of course, most folks in the poetry circles know him as Backpack Jeff. Yes, and his message is just that straightforward, just that powerful. Let me share a little bit about Backpack Jeff. First of all, he's a motivational speaker. He's a spoken word artist. He's a conflict resolutionist. He has traveled throughout the East Coast, touching lives of others with his words. Now, he's a person who always looked at life as distributing lessons. He embraces each lesson that comes his way. And as the poet who has what you need always in his backpack. So his moniker tells the story. Jeffrey uses his words to motivate others to never lose sight of their passion and to use their imagination to execute their dreams. So enough talk about Jeff, Backpack Jeff. Let's hear from Backpack Jeff. And first of all, thank you so much for being a guest right here on Sojourn with Words. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you. I'm excited to be here.
Oh, absolutely. Now, we know that there's a lot going on in the world today, but we have to start with your moniker. I mean, it's so catchy, you know, it's like Backpack Jeff. It's a brand. Tell me about what does that mean to you, and what do you want it to mean to folks who come to know you?
Sure. So for me, I think we all have a metaphorical backpack, and anytime someone leaves one of my speaking engagements, one of the conferences that I'm working on putting together, or even leaves me performing at an open mic or even my open mic, I want them to take something with them. Like, I want to deposit something into your metaphorical backpack so that you can take it with you, whether that be a small message, whether that be something that can help you grow personally or professionally, or that is something that you heard from one of the lines that I did in my poem. I want you to take something from what it is that I'm putting out in the air.
Okay. So you talk about not just you as a poet, but you've referenced that you are a motivational speaker. So do you find that you are most comfortable as a motivational speaker or as a spoken word artist? And do you differentiate between spoken word artist versus poet?
So I believe at this point, I'm more comfortable in poetry. And the reason why is because there have been more opportunities for poetry. There are places that you can go to perform poetry. There's open mics, there's events that you can go to perform poetry. With motivational speaking, there really isn't a place where they're offering motivational speaking. You actually have to go out and find the motivational speaking. And so because I've had more experience in poetry, I feel like I'm more comfortable there, and I'm getting an immediate response, an immediate reaction. Within motivational speaking, you don't get the immediate response. You kind of get the emails afterwards. You get the messages afterwards from the kids and, said that touched me, that I related to that story, things of that nature.
So who is your primary audience, or is there a primary focus when you craft your poetry and when you just are at that place of deciding what it is you want to offer to the world?
In regards to poetry, I don't think I have a primary audience. I think my primary audience is whoever wants to listen. That's one of the things that I pride myself on, is being very versatile. So I can go into your barbershop, your hair salon, your church, your business conference, your poetry open mic lounge. I can go into your school. There's a number of places that I can go and do what it is that I do because of the wide range of poetry that I'm able to put together for different audiences.
Okay. What is your process as far as the crafting? Because I'm big on, editing and revising and being responsive to the issues of the day and all of that. But everybody comes to their craft of poetry, from a different vantage point. When Jeff, Backpack Jeff, is serious about coming up with a message of significance, what does that process entail for you?
So for me, that process entails going out and gathering stories from other people. When I'm doing poetry, I'm very much a storyteller. And so I like to take from stories that I've heard from other people, or even take my own stories and kind of weave them together. And if you can think of it this way, or I think of it this way, I think of a poem as like a 20-piece puzzle. I really love puzzles. There's a bunch in my room. I love doing puzzles. They just kind of help me think. But if you think of poetry as like a giant 20-piece puzzle, I would come up with like a line, as I'm just walking, or as I'm just thinking, or if I'm hearing someone else and something inspires me, or if I'm just, if a random thought comes out of the air and I'm like, oh, wait, I need to write that down. I need to do a voice memo. And so I would get these lines and say, let's say I have line number 5, line number 7, number 8, number 10, number 11, 12, 16, 19, and 20. And now I have something here, but I don't know what the picture is yet. I don't know what the picture of this puzzle is supposed to be yet. I don't know where these lines are going to go. I don't even know if these lines are even in order, because a lot of times this line could go over here and this line could go over here. And so what I do is I look at everything on a broad spectrum, and I say, okay, what story am I trying to tell? Or what story can I tell? Or does this relate to anything that I've heard or anything that's going on in my life? And then I just read the lines over and over again. I read the lines over and over again. And then as I read them, the next line comes to me. And then the next line comes to me. And then I go, oh, wait, I can take this line and put it over here. And now it relates. And then eventually You got a nice 20-piece puzzle, and it's a beautiful poem.
Do you find that there's musicality in your poetry, or not so much as the juxtaposition of words and lines based on the puzzle that comes together?
So I don't think so. It could be. I don't think so. And the reason being is because a lot of people said that you should be a rapper. And I was like, no, I really don't like that, because I think with like music, putting music and stuff like that behind it, or with like rapping and stuff or something like that in particular, you kind of get stuck with cadences. With poetry, what I like is this line can be as long as I want it to be, and then the next line can be as short as I want it to be as well. And as for me, as long as it tells a story of how I got from A to Z, I'm fine with that.
Okay. So I definitely look forward to having you to share some of those interesting concepts of meter that is a bit different from what many poets aspire to, but that's what makes each of us have a unique voice, and we look forward to that. Before we get into the poetry, however, I want to talk about the importance of philanthropy with regard to your poetry. Talk about the connection for you to philanthropy.
Just like you talked about the backpack, Jeff, and about branding and different things like that, it's very important to make sure that you are branding yourself, and giving back has always been something that's been important to me. So with Backpack Jeff, what I'm working on now with my team that I have now is doing back to school drives, Backpack Jeff's backpack giveaway. One of the other things that I do is during the holidays, I get giant backpacks, and I Thanksgiving dinners, different things like that, and just drop off backpacks of Thanksgiving dinners to families. And that's the same thing I'm doing that I'm working on as well with, during the holiday season, is dropping off toys, backpacks full of toys. And for me, it's always making sure that I'm pouring back into people, because people have poured into me so much. And I really honestly believe that the more people you can help get what they want, the more that you can have what you want. And I don't have to ask for anything of life. I think life presents me with so much, and it's simply because I've given so much to other people.
Okay. How do you feel that poetry and creative writing influence, say, urban communities? How is it relevant?
You know what? I actually completed my master's degree on this very project, how poetry. So I've done extensive research on this, and I wrote a 30-page paper on this exact topic. And I think that poetry in urban communities, it allows urban communities and people in urban communities, to have a voice and to be able to express themselves in an artistic fashion that is creative, that allows them to have release. One of the things, I work in the mental health field, and one of the things that, we talk about a lot for the people that we talk to, that we sit down, an outlet. Whole pandemic and COVID thing happened, it kind of took away a lot of outlets for people: sports, lifting weights, events, different things like that, eating, restaurants, what have you. It took away a lot of that. And so for me, in urban communities, it's an opportunity for young people, older people, whatever your age might be, to actually express yourself in an artistic way. And the beautiful thing about it is people are more apt to remember something that is artistic, something that is creative, or something that resonated with them, or a story, than they are about facts. People don't remember facts very well, but they can remember a story that you told them. They can remember how you made them feel in that poem. They can remember the emotion that you were able to bring out in that poem.
Right. I'm not sure if it was Maya Angelou, but that attributed the comment. People always remember how you make them feel. And that's what
Yes.
the arts brings that alive. And certainly we as poets aspire to connect persons with their feelings, because poetry connects us to our feelings. And that's what allows poetry to be relevant in our lives. And we try, I believe, to convey that sense of necessity through poetry and the opportunities that poetry brings. So when we talk about poetry, certainly, whether it's an urban community or Appalachian community, there are needs that have to be addressed. And certainly during this time of pandemic, there are even more critical needs that have come to surface. A lot of times people use the busyness of the day to block out their needs. And this pandemic time frame that we're in has caused all of us to slow it down. And we're faced with some of those issues that we have kept hidden behind our busyness. So I commend you for what you're doing, certainly through poetry and motivational speaking and all of the above. I look forward to being able to have our guests in a few minutes hear some of your poetry. I want to talk about the business as it relates to social media. You're closer to the generation that lives and dwells in social media than I am. So talk about the business, the art and poetry and literary business as it relates to social media.
Sure. So I'm growing a lot from what I'm learning, listening to different podcasts and just gathering information. I am very information hungry and I love information. I believe information changes situations. And within poetry, within being creative and within doing the arts, we have to learn how to use our social media platforms, especially in today's time with this pandemic coming. Who knew that this was going to come? And so we have to be able to use what we're doing strategically on social media so that we can build who we are, so that people know what it is that we do. They know the services that we offer. They know that, how would people know that you're a poet if they don't see you, if they don't, hear you as frequently as they should? And so for me, what I've done is I've done a great job of being a student and, working towards building a successful social media platform so that when people come and find me, they look at Backpack Jeff on Instagram or on Facebook or backpackjeff.com. They see something that is professionals, something they see all of the content that I have. Even if they look at Backpack Jeff on YouTube, they see everything. They see all of the work that I'm able to do, and whatever service it is that you're looking for from me, it's relatively easy to find. We have to start finding ourselves in a space of professionalism, especially if this is something that you want to do as a profession. There's opportunity for you to do it as a profession. And when you begin to grow, your social media begins to grow. When your social media begins to grow, you begin to grow, because we are literally moving into a more digital world right now. And a lot of people are absorbing thousands of hours of content through their cell phones. And what are they on their cell phones? Mostly social media.
Okay, so we've talked about backpackjeff.com. Did I get that right?
Yes.
Okay, we got a minute left. Tell us how our viewers can be in touch with you.
Sure. So you can go to backpackjeff.com and you can send me an email. You can send me a message on Backpack Jeff on Instagram, Backpack Jeff on Facebook, on Twitter, on Snapchat, on TikTok, wherever. Google Backpack Jeff, you will be able to find Backpack Jeff. I'm definitely Googleable. Send me an email at hello@backpackjeff.com. That's hello@backpackjeff.com for all of your Backpack Jeff needs. And pick up one of these amazing shirts or hoodies.
Okay, work hard, work harder. Okay,
right.
Thank you so much, Jeff. Backpack Jeff, right here on Sojourn with Words. We are so very happy and honored to have you as our guest, sharing the significance of poetry, sharing the significance of motivational speaking even, and how philanthropy can make a difference in the community, how poetry and creative writing influences all communities. So we look forward to hearing from you now, the poetry that you have been discussing. So viewers of Sojourn with Words, I present to you Backpack Jeff.
I never thought that life in a deck of cards would be relatable. But my life has been shuffled and cut so many times, I'm beginning to see the correlation. Phase one. Love is like playing old maid, right? You go out into the world looking for a match, blindly choosing cards. You hope that you find the one person that matches so that y'all can lay down perfectly as the rest of the world plays on. God, please don't let me be like the old maid. The one card that nobody wants, destined to live alone with no possible matches, game over. Phase two, solitaire. I've spent so much time in solitary confinement, trapped inside of my own mind, waiting for the validation of another person. But since I have learned to be alone and that I can enjoy and love myself just as much without the validation of another person to tell me that I'm worth the risk of possibly losing a one-player game, phase three, go fish. I'd have people come to me and ask, hey, Jeff, you got any time to waste? I mean, are you going out tonight? And I would tell them, no, go fish. I don't have any time wasting cards in my hand. I'm throwing out all my cards and giving this life everything that I've got until I'm empty-handed. Phase 4, I learned magic. I turned my negatives into a positive and made all of the toxic people in my life disappear. Phase 5, blackjack, 21. The number of times life has hit me and knocked me down, but I have gotten up 22. Catch 22. Life tried to hold me down and force me to believe that there is no possible way that I can make it back to my feet. But y'all, I refuse to stay down at the bottom. It is simply too overcrowded. Phase 6, speed. See, not only do I have to be as smart as the next person, I also have to beat them to the spot, because even in this game of life, speed kills. Phase 7, Texas Hold'em. I'm holding on to my dreams and I will not fold. I got my goals on the table and I'm going all in. I'm betting on myself. My poker face is laser focused. I will not be distracted by the lies and the deceit of life. I'm calling his bluff. Phase 8. I'm playing spades with God as my partner against the devil and adversity. And I gotta say, y'all, I got 5 definites and 3 possibles in my hand. 5 times devil, I'm definitely gonna win. And 3 other times, there is no possible way that I will let you prevail. Phase 9, life tried to throw a wrench in my plan, but simultaneously, I threw down my wrench too and said, I declare war. Phase 10, devil, this is the last time that I willingly let you back into my life. And if I had 4 cards left, they would play out like this. Any type of negative energy you bring to me, I'm reversing it back to you. You can skip me with all of that nonsense and draw 2 just because I don't like you. And I got 1 card left and it's a draw 4. So you know what that means. 4 more reasons why you won't be invited back here. Uno, don't come back, out. And that's the first one.
That was incredible.
Thank you.
Okay. Backpack Jeff,
That's
right
it.
here, presenting awesome spoken word poetry. Thank you so much. We are blessed. Let's see. Do we have time for one more, maybe? I'm not sure.
Yes, minutes here. So I'll go ahead and get it. I'll get into this next one. It's about 3 minutes long. And this is one that I wrote. It's called Inspiring Woman, because I went to a women empowerment conference and they were, I was just very inspired by the women that were there and being chosen as a guest to perform. So here we go. I guess I should thank Wale for this inspiration. Ambitious girl, I'm so inspired by your dedication. The way you make being a full-time student, single mom, and holding down the job look easy. No appreciation from the critics, but you never needed validation. Just some time away from the kids and maybe a vacation. And I like how you don't let society tell you that time away from the kids isn't necessary, and how self-care for you was customary. People see you and ask, how you remember to get your nails done today, but you didn't eat? And you tell them that you eat, and that's how you can afford to get your nails done and your feet, ambitious girl. Or maybe I should call you Wonder Woman, because you've been making the whole world wonder how you made it when your vehicle and road to success has always been invisible, so you paved it. Made a way out of no way as you typically do. Ambitious girl, I'm so in love with you. And I like how date nights have turned into study groups, because you're busy studying for your tests. And I'm here to quiz you to make sure that you do your best. See, these relationship goals. Look, I'll meet you at graduation with a ring so we can make this relationship whole. Ambitious girl. She outgrew kind words with no actions. She done trying to fit him in her life when she custom made. Now he got to go to the tailor just to fit in her life. That means he got to do better. She dumbed down herself too many times. If he can't afford to meet her on the level she's going to, he don't deserve to be on her line. Ambitious girl. She got me ready to better myself. And I love how she encourages me to love myself. She sees that I work hard, but she tell me that self-care is an important part of what I should do. She let me know that the attainment of wealth is important, but my mental health is too. Ambitious girl, now inspiring woman. Y'all, sometimes we do so much dreaming that this don't even feel real. Sometimes we pretend to sit in the back of the car and just do work so we can know what having a driver feels like. Make an absurd request to our personal assistant and nanny practicing for our future life. Asking a babysitter to watch the kids this weekend because we had a rough week. And it may seem silly to other people, but we see the future in this mystique inspiring woman. I see your network. She got around other inspiring women to increase her network. They say behind every successful woman is a tribe of other successful women who have her back to help her in business and to tell her when an outfit is whack. And not because they hating, but because they always want to see her at her best, inspiring woman, not just a Disney princess. Sometimes she Layla Ali. She don't just float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. She cocoon the butterfly and she queen bee. That means she can help you grow wings and provide at the same time. Inspiring woman did it all on her own dime, raised the kids and provided the house, turned Simba into Mufasa before she was ever considered a spouse. Inspiring woman, I see you working, even though your feet hurting. She wake up in the morning, one high heel and a combat boot because she about to go to war, but she want to look good doing it. The whole world told her to stop chasing her dreams, but she's still pursuing it. Inspiring woman, I just want to take off your cape when you come home, but not strip you of your superpowers. Show you that you don't have to fly alone. I can meet you in the sky. Inspiring woman, I'm your biggest fan. Signed, the Inspiring Man.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Love it.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Okay, let's see. I think we have a few minutes more. How about another piece?
Yeah, sure. So this is a poem that I wrote. It's called Still Smiling, and it's for anyone who's ever been through anything. And my mantra is just to keep smiling, honestly. Never lose your smile. It's the one thing that makes you special. You've got to learn to smile even when life gets stressful. Know that every smile is different, but we all smile the same. Your smile can be the one thing that helps get you through your pain. Because you see, trauma, it's one of the scariest things as a person we can ever go through. But sometimes it's a necessity of life that we all must grow through. See, when I heard one of my best friends got killed, it almost killed me too. See, life doesn't have to kill you physically. It just has to control your mental. And if you let it live inside of your mind instead of being just a rental, the effects can be detrimental. So always remember that trauma is temporary. It's not written in pen, it's written in pencil. So you can erase all of the bad times you've ever had. All you have to do is flip the trauma on its head and stop letting it write in the pages of your life with this poisonous lead, but be led by the things that it's teaching you and the lessons you've learned, because you've made it through the battlefield of life, your stripes you've earned. So take those pages out of your book, set them on fire and watch them burn. And don't let it hold you back no more. Take his ashes and put them in an urn and drop it in a pit at the point of no return, because your trauma, it only defines what you became, not what you can become. Just because you feel weak right now doesn't mean that you don't have the strength to overcome. All you have to do is take a step back and look at all you've done. Keep the good of life playing in your mind, because joy and depression can exist at the same time. And that's a rule of thumb. See, I know you have the strength, and it's buried deep down within, because if a little girl who was raped can get back up again and still believe she can win, imagine what you can do if you just believe it was written in pencil and not in pen. But then again, nowadays, even a pen comes with an eraser. But what happens when you lose a child to someone who was drinking and driving with no chaser? Because the driver, she drove off and there was no one there to chase her. So the death of a child is what marked her. Now she believes that her trauma was written in permanent marker. Because how can you ever come back from the death of a child? You can't. But if you've ever lost one or know someone who did, please say that child's name out loud. So you may not ever be able to erase permanent marker, but if you keep drawing, you will be able to see the full picture. It was written in the scripture, Luke 20, verse 36, neither can they die anymore, for they are equal unto angels and are children of God, being the children of resurrection. Don't think of this trauma as your destruction. If you're going through something right now, it's just because your life is under construction. And that's when God is doing his best work. So just wait for instruction. So many times we're so quick to move when God wants us to be still. We're so busy trying to run up when he has a way for us to go around the hill. If we would just stop, take a break, assess, and some time to heal, allow him to move on us, and his light will reveal the road in which we should take, not to forget all that we've been through, but to finally get rid of this heartache. Because honestly, God, I can't take no more. I'm tired of feeling like I'm the only soldier that's fighting this war. I'm trying to build a relationship with you, but the devil is building rapport. So show me something my eyes and my heart can believe in, because I may not show it on the outside, but on the inside, I'm bleeding. And yes, I know the irony of that statement, but don't think that I'm not in pain, because my bleeding is not blatant. My pain is not for everyone to see. I don't want it to be what defines me, but sometimes I feel alone and I'm just waiting on someone to find me and tell me that everything is going to be okay. I don't need a long drawn out lecture. I just need to know that everything is going to be okay. Those four simple words could be the words to save my day. I've been through so much trauma and it was all locked up inside and you felt like I was alone on Rikers Island, but I saw something different out on the horizon. I've been through all of this trauma, but look at me, y'all. I'm still smiling. So never lose your smile. It's the one thing that makes you special. You've got to learn to smile even when life gets stressful. Know that every smile is different, but we all smile the same. Your smile will be the one thing that helps get you through your pain. So keep smiling, y'all. Keep smiling.
Backpack Jeff. Incredible. Thank you so much. That wraps up today's special episode of Sojourn with Words. I'm your host, Sistah Joy, and you've heard some of the best right here. Sojourn with Words presenting Backpack Jeff, Jeff Young, also known as Backpack Jeff. Thank you so much for being with us. And please
Thank you all.
Join us again whenever you can on CTV, covering the best of poetry everywhere.